One program that absolutely went to work in the last 25, 26 days, and one individual who's been to work in the same capacity, Matt Rhule. That's right, Coach Matt Rhule. He rebuilt Temple, rebuilt Baylor. After a short stint in the NFL, is back in the college game. He is at the helm in Lincoln, Nebraska. They had a day on signing day. Very quietly, they had a day on signing day. They got a lot of what I call OKGs, because we just love acronyms in the football world. They got our kind of guys they're going to develop and turn into absolute dogs as we go forward. But here's what I think is crucial to take away. Finished 9th in the Big Ten last year in recruiting. Finished 5th this past National Signing Day in the entire conference. So it's a four-class increase, which is a positive thing. But think about where Nebraska was last season. Not playing for a bowl game. Coach gets fired early in the year, and you still finish first in the Big Ten West. It's important. A lot of that work was done by Matt Rhule this last 20-plus days. Very, very important, very, very crucial. They also kept Malachi Coleman in the state of Nebraska. He's right down the road from you. Malachi Coleman went and visited with Coach Prime in Colorado. Let me tell you this. Most recruits, a lot of recruits, when they go visit Colorado, when they get in the same room as Coach Prime, man, it's a done deal. So charismatic. He's a great recruiter, has the NFL pedigree, telling you he can get you to where you want to go. Travis Hunter's joining him. Like, a lot of recruits buy into that quickly. I'm not saying they shouldn't. I'm just saying it's impressive that Nebraska was able to hold off Coach Prime in Colorado and keep four-star athlete Malachi Coleman a Cornhusker. I mean, that's enormous. Absolutely enormous. He's going to be a receiver, is what Matt Rhule has said publicly. We'll see how he translates, but he's a freakish athlete, extremely fast, and will play early, according to Matt Rhule. If you haven't yet subscribed, we'd love to have you at the party. I always say it, but this is your show. College football is a 12-month-a-year sport. We're going to cover it accordingly, meaning we don't take a day off. We're not over here taking vacations. This is how we get down. This is what we love. We know you love it too, so that's why this is a community. Also, follow me on Twitter and Instagram at JDPakel. Here's how I look at Coach Rhule going to Nebraska, because I'll just say this. I got a chance to be in Matt Rhule's program at Baylor for a short period of time. And what Matt Rhule is to Nebraska is like a caffeine pill to that brand, like a dose of caffeine, espresso, whatever kind of caffeine you prefer. That's what Matt Rhule is to this brand. And I say that because there's a lot of kids with a lot of stars next to their name that are looking for a reason to play at Nebraska. And to be honest, they haven't really had one for a few years. But Matt Rhule brings vision, he brings excitement, he brings juice, he brings pedigree, he brings a great track record. I think at the end of the day, he brings direction to Nebraska. And let me just say this. When someone has a clear direction, when you know without a doubt where someone is going, it makes it very easy to follow them. You know what I'm saying? The direction for Nebraska and for Matt Rhule is this: speed on defense, building it in the trenches, being back to that bully, physical brand of football they play in Lincoln, then also out-developing their competition. They'll take the three-star. Look at their class. They're happy to take the three-star player and turn him into an NFL prospect, NFL draft pick. They're happy to do that because they out-evaluate and they out-develop better than most staffs in the country. I'm very confident saying that about Matt Rhule because the track record indicates just as much. So here's my final thought on why I think Nebraska is headed the right direction. On signing day morning, you woke up likely to a tweet from Matt Rhule's Twitter account with a series of emojis. And you can go and look the tweet up. It'd be kind of awkward to try and communicate to you out loud, but here's the gist of the tweet, if I'm reading between the lines. It's a subtweet that, from where I was sitting, was a little bit of shade thrown towards two specific schools on what they were doing when it comes to NIL. And I'll just say this, whether that's true or not, I don't have any insight to. I'm sure Matt Rhule has a better gauge on all that than me. But just the fact that he was willing to pick a fight a little bit, like that's kind of an aggressive move in a positive way to kind of call out some other schools. For Matt Rhule, I think that's what Nebraska needs. I mean, that's what Nebraska has been when they're successful. They're that bully. They're looking to pick a fight. They're not scared of anybody else. They're not being bashful. They're not tiptoeing around anything. Does a tweet sum up everything about what Matt Rhule stands for, what Nebraska is going to be? No, but I think it's a small peek into what he is, into how he operates. They're the bully, man. And I've been in that room with him. I've been in that team room with him, again, for a short period of time. But in that small sample size, I'll tell you what, there is enormous confidence within those walls of what he is going to build at Nebraska. In those team rooms, he's confident in that he can get it done, that his process works. And so far, the track record proves exactly that. And he said it, we're going to get big human beings to play in the trenches from this region. And so far, 8 of the 21 players in this class from Nebraska. A lot of those big linemen that are going to dominate the line of scrimmage. So what I'm trying to say is, from a mentality standpoint and from a play style standpoint, Nebraska is going to get back to being the aggressor. They're not scared of anybody. They're not tiptoeing around anybody. They're going to be the hammer and not the nail. Will that happen in year one? I think you'll see a really strong effort to be that, but I promise you it's more of a process. It's going to be over the next couple of years. So I'm not calling a shot that Nebraska's going to win the title next year. They're going to play for a New Year's Six Bowl. That could for sure happen. College football is a wild sport. Maybe more so playing for a New Year's Six Bowl than you do a national title, because that's a hard thing to do. The bottom line is Nebraska's headed the right direction because of Matt Rhule's approach, because of what Nebraska is going to get back to being, and being the bully and being physical. And then in terms of re-energizing that brand, we saw them take strides on signing day with a coach that's been there 24 days. Okay, give it some time, but Matt Rhule and Nebraska are going to work. I just want to make sure we're keeping a solid look at what they're doing. They're going to work, and I really feel excited about where that program is headed. Hey y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.